Hey guys, my name is Ola and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be speaking about how much I made on Turo, my Turo journey so far, what I've kind of been doing, and yeah, I think it's going to be really informative because I know when I first started when I first started trying to get into car rentals and everything, I watched a lot of YouTube video, a lot of seeing what people are doing and everything, and I actually found that really helpful. So I think it'll just be kind of cool to show you guys my earnings and my journey, how I kind of did everything, and some things that I really succeeded on and some things I kind of really failed on. So if I'm looking, I'm going to be looking a lot back and forth because I got my phone with me right now. So that's how I'm actually looking through everything. But opening up the app, let me see. Okay, so now you guys can see everything that I'm seeing pretty much. So I guess even just a little bit of backstory. I actually started doing Turo about January. I want to say like the ending of like the last week of January or so. I got my first booking like February 1st, but I think I really started getting into Turo. I got like my cars and everything for Turo. I might do a little side tangent of how I got the cars and stuff, but I got my first two cars for Turo around like January, like the middle of January, like the second to last week or the third to last week of January. Got it ready and everything, got it all chipped up and stuff, and then I got my first booking, I want to say probably about a week or a week and a half after I actually listed the car. I actually want to say it was less than, no, it was more than a week. I think it was like a week and a half or so, just adjusting the prices and stuff like that, getting the location right. But yeah, shortly after I listed the car, I actually got bookings. I know I was a little bit worried, like, what if I just get the cars and I don't get any bookings? I'm seeing all these people buying. I'm seeing all these people on YouTube talking about, oh, I put the car online and it got booked in. It got booked in like the first day. I was like, is that really possible? But surprise, surprise, it actually is. And that kind of reaffirms my thought of just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean there's other people that won't be more than happy to rent out a car. And as you see, there's actually a lot of people that rent out cars. But going back into the actual numbers and everything, so what you guys are seeing now is the history of the trips that I have planned so far. So the reason I actually have a few cars, but two of the cars are actually out. One of them is because I'm renting it somewhere else, and the other car is because it unfortunately got into an accident. But let me go into this. So the inbox, the vehicles. So let me go over the vehicles that I have currently. All right, I have a Chevy Equinox. This one is actually, what's it called? This one actually got into an accident, unfortunately, in New Jersey. I think somebody, a truck, like hit the back of the car while the renter was in it, which was really unfortunate. The renter and everything's all safe. It was honestly like a small little ding up, so it wasn't anything crazy. Renter was safe. That was the first thing I mentioned. I was like, hey, are you safe? Are you good and everything? Is there anything you need me to do? But they were all good and stuff. They were just a little shaken up because the truck kind of hit him from the back. But I'll go into this car because this car actually made some good money. Now the minivan, this is the Chrysler Pacifica. This one actually surprised me because I did not even think about a minivan. But I think I was researching a little bit, and apparently, like a lot of people rent out minivans. So I was like, oh, let me try it out. Then here's my Hyundai Elantra. The reason why the star is even low, it was before it was actually 5 stars, but the reason why it's low because I'm gonna go into that in a little bit. But I basically had a renter that wanted to get a refund really badly and try to make like as many excuses as they could. They were like, "Oh, the oil level is low, the lights aren't working and everything." Mind you, I have pictures of everything, and so I was able to refute it with her, and they were able to see. So now I'm actually just looking to try to get that review off. But because there's 7 trips, each of those 7 trips like they drastically affect the score. So just trying to see what I could do from that. And then I have this Kia Optima. This Kia Optima has been going pretty good. Again, same thing with the scores. I had somebody that took the car. I had somebody that took the car, and unfortunately, actually, sorry, I just got I just got an alert. I'm gonna put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, so yeah, I had somebody that took the car and they drove really far distance and they smoked in the car and stuff like that, and they were trying to extend the trip, not even trying to extend the trip, they were actually trying to just keep the car. And I had to basically tell them like, hey, you got to bring the car and everything. I have another booking. I have somebody else that needs a car, whatever. Kind of started pulling an attitude and stuff. So I could already tell this was not going to be the best trip or the best review. But I have this one snooze, and that's because I'll show you guys in a bit. But I actually do some private rentals on the side. But these are my 4 cars. The story of the cars is I got this Chevy Equinox first. I got the Chevy Equinox and this Hyundai Elantra first. There wasn't any real rhyme or reason why I got these cars first. I think I just liked the look of them, and I wanted to try out. I want to try out the sedan market, and I wanted to try the SUV market. And honestly, I actually thought that the sedan was going to do way better than the SUV, but the SUV did numbers, surprisingly. And that makes me want to buy some more SUVs for my fleet, because honestly, for this SUVs, like every single week is like out on trips, like without fail. Like I don't think there's been 1 week, unless there was maintenance or something, that the car was out and I couldn't that the car wasn't booked up, because the car was just always booked up. And so I even increased my prices and everything, and the car was still booked up. So if you guys are trying to get into Turo, I definitely recommend SUVs. It depends on the area. I'm in the Dallas area, but they definitely love booking the car. So that was the Chevy Equinox. And then the Hyundai Elantra, really good car. I have a really crazy story for this car. Actually, I'll probably say this now. So back when I first got my first booking, it was the sedan and the SUV pretty much got booked at like the same time, maybe like a few hours apart, if not like maybe like a day apart from each other. So I was like, oh shoot, like I got 2 cars that's booked out. Like I gotta start getting these cars ready. The sedan actually went out first. It was from some women, and funny story, the first time you're trying to do anything, you kind of learn a lot of different things, and this first booking definitely taught me a lot. So for this car, I had some girl come pick up the car and everything. At first, she actually sent a picture of her ID. And I was like, according to Turo, you actually need like a driver's license. And so I was looking at the ID, and I accidentally like approved her and gave her the passcodes to the car and everything. And I'm over here like freaking out. I'm like, oh shoot, like, oh no, this isn't good. This isn't good. what if the person just takes my car and everything? I need like to have like a driver's license for the person. And so I called Turo, and they were pretty much like, hey, I think they called the guest and they like double checked a few things behind the scenes, but they were able to give me the approval that they could actually take the car, even though it was just an ID, which was kind of crazy. So they took the car, got the car. And this renter, she's kind of driving, not driving, but like, she's doing her thing or whatever. And I'm not really even paying too much attention to the car, because it is kind of my first booking. But I was like, hey, somebody got the car. I'm glad they're enjoying the car. I'm being really nice and everything to her. She's replying a little bit late, but honestly, it's not like she's on the trip. She's enjoying the car, so I'm not really too pressed about that. So the trip, I think her initial trip was like about like a week or so. And then I noticed like either the same day or the day before her trip was about to end, she always extended it like 2-3 more days. I wasn't really thinking too much about it, because I'm like, hey, keep the car as long as you need to. I'm glad I'm getting more money, especially since it was like last minute, last booking trip, and so I was getting even a little bit extra, and so I'm making money off this trip. I'm like, oh shoot, Toro's up. This is great. This is good shit. So she keeps the car. She's booking the car, and she keeps on. I think she extended it like 3 times. She had the car for some time, so she had the car, and then unfortunately, I actually had somebody that booked the car for like a Friday, and like she had the car like on Wednesday. She was trying to extend it again, but I was like, hey, unfortunately I do have to get the car back, because because I have a booking for the car. And she's basically like, oh, is there anything I could do? Maybe can you cancel it or whatever? I'm willing to give you more money. I was like, unfortunately, I can't really cancel trips on Turo, because they're going to charge me whatever. Not charge me, but it's going to go up against my metrics. And she's like, oh, okay. Actually, she didn't even say, oh, okay. She just left me on scene. Oh, okay, I'm just going to get the car. When I get the car, she's going to drop it off. Like, I think her thing was on Wednesday, so she's going to drop it off Wednesday. Tell me how. I think it was Wednesday, I forgot what day it was, but I get an alert from my tracker, and it's like possible impact detected. I'm like, what do you mean possible impact detected? and I look at the app, and I'm starting to sweat and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, oh shit, like a possible impact detected. What do you mean? What happened to the car? And I didn't want to mention it to her, because I didn't want her to like, I have a track or whatever in the car. So I just kind of kept it quiet. I was just like, hey, is everything okay? After I saw the thing, no reply, no nothing. So I'm like, oh shoot, like what am I really gonna expect? She drops the car off, and I look at the car, and I'm gonna try to insert a picture somewhere. But I get the car back, and like the front grill is like cracked, and like there's dents, and like there's a few things from the front. Like she definitely had an impact in the front. I don't know what she hit to this day, but she hit something in the front of the car. And initially, so mind you, again, this is my first trip, one of my first trips, the first trip for this car for sure, but one of my first trips in general. But it's first trip for this car, new to Turo, have no real experience, whatever, first time renting out cars, and my first trip is an accident. So that teaches you. Actually, I'm gonna give you the life lesson after this story, but now I'm learning how to do an accident report. Now I'm learning what to do with Toro. Now I'm learning to I'm like freaking. I'm like, oh my god, And I messaged her. I'm like, hey, why didn't you? No, I didn't say why didn't you. I kept it cool and reserved. But I was like, hey, are you okay? Because I did see that there was an accident. Can you tell me what happened? And she's basically denying the accident even happened. And I'm like, I have pictures that, there might have been some type of collision. Like, are you sure there's nothing that happened? And I was like, honestly, just let me know the truth or whatever. She's like, I don't know any accident that happened. I don't recall any accident. So I'm like, okay, I clearly had to open up a claim. I was going to open up a claim regardless, but I was like, I definitely need to open up a claim. Open up the claim, and I opened up the claim, and I sent pictures and stuff like that. And this claim took the car out for like almost a month. And I think the reason why is because the damage from the front didn't look as bad as it actually was. So when we actually took off the grill, I'm gonna see if I could import more pictures too. But when we actually took off the grill, like the radiator was cracked, and there was some other things that was like bent and cracked, and like even the front bar was dented up. And I'm thinking that she might have had the accident and maybe try to glue it up or try to fix it up or cover it up somehow. But the stuff was really dented up. And so we was going back and forth with Turo support, Turo claims. And, if you ever done Turo before, they kind of dragged their feet. So I had to call every single day trying to make sure I was applying pressure to make sure my claim was actually going somewhere. Initially, they gave me like 1,000 something, and then I had like a 250 deductible because I'm on the 750 plan or something along those lines. And I gave it to my mechanic, and she's like, "Yeah, that's definitely not enough." So we sent the supplementals. After a lot of back and forth, they ended up giving me about like $3,000 or $4,000, and then the repairs ended up being like 3,000 or two something. I forgot what it was specifically, but basically I ended up coming out of the claim with like an extra $800, which was nice. And so I profited like $800 from that claim, which is really good. For the first trip. So basically I want to say for that first trip I actually made like almost like $1,000, which is really cool because I only bought the car for like 6,000 or so. So that was pretty much my first trip. And my learning lesson from that trip is no matter how prepared, how much you think that you kind of understand what's kind of, not even how much you think you kind of have understand what's going on, but you can prep as much as you can, but nothing will teach you like experience. And that first experience taught me, wow, okay, I literally dealt with the worst of it. Not the worst of it, but I dealt with one of the hardest situations with car rentals on my first trip. So I told myself that if I dealt with this on the first trip, and it actually wasn't too bad, to be honest, like this is definitely something I could continue with. I made money off of it, off of the accident, and I made money off of the gas. And then I think the only tedious part was really just the Turo insurance. But I think that's the biggest first for most people in the car rental industry. It's just, what if something happens to my car? And that was what happened to my first trip. So I learned from that, gained a lot of experience and everything. So that was my first trip in the car. The Chevy Equinox has been doing pretty good, very good, like amazing. Like I want to buy like 2-3 more of them if I can, because it's just always booked up. And I always get a lot of good reviews on that car. But long rant over. Let me go to the actual bookings. Okay. Let me do this. All right, so we're back on the app. I already showed you the trips and stuff. Now to how much I made. So again, I got my first booking, I want to say like the first day of February or so, like the last week of January, something along those lines. And so don't let this number kind of miscrude you. This is kind of like my total earnings for 2026. So I guess you could say this is my total earnings for like the past like 4 months, but I'll really just be going over like the first 3 months. And I think like every quarter I want to try to give you guys an update to see how my tour has been. So I made about Actually, I can't even say that. Actually, maybe instead of, I'll just say this would be like a 3.5. How much I made on Turo in like 3.5 months. So again, I mentioned I didn't really get any trips in January. My first trip was really in February, and so I made about $1,000 with both cars. And again, my Chevy, not my Chevy, but my Hyundai Elantra was actually out for almost this entire month, and so most of this earnings was actually for my SUV, which was nice. And the thing about, all right, maybe I'll backtrack a little bit, because the thing about Turo is I'm not sure how they really incorporate this stuff, because I actually, if you include the money that I got from the claim, so like the $800 I got from the claim, I actually made more than this in a month. And so take these numbers with a caveat. I want to say like in the full 3.5 months, I might have made like about like 7,000 something. I think they keep the reimbursements in here and everything too, but I want to say about like 7,000 something. I'm sorry, like maybe like mid to high sevens. But first month, just the Hyundai Elantra, no, just the Chevy Equinox. The Hyundai Elantra was out for most of this month. Month number 2, I think this is the month. Oh, actually, I can actually do this month by month. Let me see how I could do this. Okay. All right, so I showed you guys how much I made just with all the cars and everything. So let me show you guys the actual month by month. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Let me show you guys the actual month by month. I'll start with the Chevy Equinox. So like I mentioned before, this car actually made me a good amount of money. I actually bought this car for about like, I bought this car kind of high. And again, it's like a lot of learning lessons. And so I was just so eager to kind of get into the car that I wasn't really too focused on like the price. I knew I wanted it to be under like 8,000, which you'll see I actually went a little bit over, but it's kind of like I preach on this channel, or I preach just in general. Imperfect action always beats perfect action every time. So even though you might be getting your car for a little bit higher, like with a little bit more maintenance or with a little bit more whatever, I think just the fact that you started is already putting you at a really good position. So I'm on the path to pay off this car in like, I don't know, the next few, like 3-4 months or something like that. And then also the FIFA game is coming up in Dallas, and so I know this car is going to be making a lot of money. But in February, like I mentioned before, this actually made me more money in February because my other car was out, so I made $700. Then I made $50 off for reimbursements. In March, this car made me about $983 rounded up, so it's about like $1,000 for just March alone. April, this car made me about $817. So that's $817 in profit. And then in May, so the reason why May is a little bit lower is because the car actually got into an accident like the first or second week of May. So actually, I think like the first week of May. And so I actually haven't really been able to profit too much. The car is actually out, so it's at my mechanic right now. So I'm really hoping to get this car back, especially for the summertime. So that was a Chevrolet Equinox. And one thing that I will also mention is the gas. So there is the gas. So the gas, I don't pay for the gas or whatever unless somebody just didn't fill up the car. But the reason why there's a reimbursement is probably because I guess probably didn't put enough gas in the car or just didn't put gas in the car at all. And so pretty much what happens with Turo is the guests are expected to put in gas in the car. And if they don't end up putting gas in the car, then you can charge them how much the gas will be. And then Turo gives you like another $10 just for the inconvenience, I guess you could say. That was a Chevy Equinox. All right, let me go to the Hyundai as well. So the Hyundai is actually on a trip currently. Sorry. So like I mentioned before, got some money, about $300. This doesn't account for the claim though, but I made about $300. And then in March, I made $264. I think the reason why I made $264 is because I think I got the car back towards like the middle of the ending of March. And yeah, I think the numbers just didn't, I don't think it went, I kind of forgot the reason why it's so low, but it's low. For April, I made about $800 on the car. Car is booked out a lot, which was really nice. And then for this month, which is May, I made $125 so far. And then the car is actually on a trip right now. And so when that trip is going to be done this Saturday. So after that trip is done, I'm going to be making an extra $250. And so for this month, 250 plus 125, that's like it's like almost $400 or so. And so this is the middle of May. This is May 19th. So I am expecting to make a little bit more money. I will also say for this month of May, I did a private car rental for this car with somebody that I knew. And so this car actually, imagine this $1,503 plus like another like maybe like 100 or like 150 or so. So at like 1,600 or so. I bought this car for like about $6,000, and so again on track to pay this car off pretty soon. Let me go into the Chevrolet Pacifica. Oh, so story about the Chrysler Pacifica and the Kia Optima. So after those first two cars, the Chevrolet Equinox and the Hyundai Elantra was going pretty well, I told myself like, man, like I could really definitely scale this up. It actually wasn't too much on the time, to be honest. So the most I would do in terms of like just time that it takes, I want to say each car probably takes like an hour for pickup and then also drop it. So I pretty much have the car dropped off where I stay at. Not where I stay at, but I have the car dropped off like around me. And so what I do is, this is my pickup step. So when somebody drops off the car, I take pictures of the car all around the car. I take pictures inside the car, odometer and stuff like that. And then I take it to I'm saying a lot, but I take the car to our car wash that's actually really close to my house. And I take it to the car wash and get the car wash and everything. And then I take a vacuum, clean out that stuff up. That usually takes me about like 30 minutes. And then I'll park the car again. And then when I have my next trip, I'll look if the car needs another car wash. And by the time I have another trip, it's usually like maybe like a day or two or something like that before a trip is actually about to start anyway. But I'll look if the car needs another car wash. The interior is already clean, but I'll look if the car needs a car wash. If it does, I'll take it to the car wash again. If it doesn't, then I'll just keep the car. And then it takes me about like 30 minutes to just take pictures and stuff like that all around the car and just double checking like small things around the car, make sure everything's all good. And yeah, I would say each car takes me about like an hour with pickup and drop off. So it's really easy, simple business. It's not really not difficult at all. Not time consuming at all, unless you start growing your fleet and everything. And I have been growing my fleet a little bit more. I'll tell you guys about that in a little bit. But after those two cars have been going out a lot and I made a lot of good money, I said, let me just keep on buying more cars. And so I bought two new cars at like the same time, like literally a day from each other. I got the Chrysler Pacifica because I want to test out the minivan market. And then I got this Kia Optima. And the actual reason why I got the Kia Optima is because I wanted to test out the private car rental niche. And so this is kind of like my first entryway. I wanted to start off with a car that I could still put on Turo if I want to, but if it doesn't work. And then, so I want to start off with a car that I could put on Turo. And if it works well, then that's good. But I did have the intention of having this car for private like 50% of the time as well. Because I heard about private car rentals. It's a little bit more risky, but you make a lot more money. But if you have the right procedures in place, if you really make sure your risks and everything's all good, if you make sure the insurance is in place, then it's actually not too bad. And actually you can make a lot of money off of it. So I got the car with the intentions of making it private. So that's why you see with the Kia, the money's actually pretty low, and that's because I've mostly actually been doing private car rentals with this car. Now that's done. Let me go to the Chrysler Pacifica, and this car is a car that's surprising me a lot. So it's probably a mixture of the summertime plus families, summertime and stuff like that, and also it's a bigger car, so it accommodates more and it just makes more money in general. So it's Chrysler Pacifica. It's made me about $1,706 in 2026 so far. I think I actually bought this car for less than the Chevrolet Equinox. I think I got this car for like $8,000. I think it was $7,400, $7,500, something like that. And this car has made me some good money so far, and it will continue to make me some good money. So I bought this car in March. I think I got the car actually ready like the second half of March or so. And so this first month it was $679, which is nice. Second month, April, which is $602. And the thing about this car is it's going like almost every single weekend. And so it's kind of like the Chrysler, it's kind of like the Chevrolet Equinox. I'll say the Chevrolet Equinox gets booked more, but this one gets booked longer, and it gets booked like almost about the same amount, but it still gets booked a lot. So April, $602, March, $679. And now that we're in May, I made $425 off of this car so far. And I have about $283 coming up for the rest of May. And this this is just the bookings that I got so far. So if I get more bookings in May, then I'll be making I'll be making even more money. And then June, I'm ready. So this is trips that haven't happened yet, but I've already got booked for it. So in June, I'm already going to be on paper making $888. And this is before more trips even come. Maybe I might have some cancellations or something like that, but I think Turo actually gave me some money back. But so this is crazy. Again, the not Super Bowl, but the FIFA Cup is happening in Dallas, and so the car's getting booked a lot. Definitely a lot of money that's about to be made. And I also have about $670 for July already booked up right now. And I even still have gaps. So I'm definitely going to be expecting this car to make maybe double, hopefully triple, but maybe double how much this is. And again, I'm on track to, pay off this car in like the next few months, definitely, maybe even before the end of the year, to be honest. So a lot of money could be made off of the minivan market, especially in the summer months. I don't know how it's going to be in the winter time, but definitely summertime for sure. So in terms of bookings right now, I'm looking at almost like 3,000 something, almost 4,000. But yeah, car has made me about $1,706 so far. And now I'll go into the Kia Optima. So like I mentioned before, the reason why it's so low is because I've actually made less. I've actually been mostly doing private car rentals for this. And honestly, with the private car rentals, this car has actually probably made me more than the Chrysler Pacifica so far. The car is actually out on a private car rental right now. The person's paying me about like $350 per week. So it's making some really good money. And so that's $432. Again, I got it like the second half of March or so, and it took me a little while to get this car ready. I'm not gonna lie, because I was doing private car rentals, I did like the kill switch and like different trackers and all these different things. And like I mentioned before, like the first time you're doing something, it's kind of takes you some time to get used to it. But I want to just take the action to get in the car and then just learning how to do the stuff properly after the car. I knew the steps I needed to do, but I wanted to actually, in order to like actually get the people that you need to do the kill switch and do this and do that, I had to kind of learn that with this car. But now if I get a car, I can do it much faster, which is nice. And then April, I had it listed for like the first week or two of April, and then I kind of closed it down because I was starting to get a lot of car rental bookings and inquiries for private car rentals, and so I just kind of took it off like halfway through. So that's the reason why it's pretty low. But I would say this Kia Optima has made me about like 1,000, maybe like 1,500, almost 2,000, just because of the private car rentals, because I used to do that like about 300, 350 a week, and the car is out a lot, which is nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys learned a lot. Hope you guys learned a lot. This is my Turo journey so far. Pretty new to the car rental space, so I'll take you guys through my journey, show you guys things that I've done to improve my fleet, maintenance and stuff, and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, if you are thinking about doing Turo, I definitely really recommend it. Start off with like maybe two cars, but like one car. Make sure it's like a cash car, like 5,000, 6,000, whatever. Don't get like a hunk of junk, but get a car that's like looks decent, something that you would want to drive. And just let it sit there. If it doesn't go well, then you could always sell the car. And if it does go good, then now you have a potential business that you could be starting. And starting off for Turo has really opened my eyes in a lot of different ways. And so I did Turo, but now I'm really heavily trying to market into the private car rentals and try to make that into a thing. And so I'll be telling you about my journey with that as well. And yeah, for the private car rentals, like I mentioned before, the money's been going pretty good. Maybe I'll try to see if I get you some screenshots or something. But private car rentals, I'll probably say maybe about like, I started that last month, maybe, no, not even last month, 2 months ago. But I really started really working on like last month, like the second to half. Yeah, I want to say last month. So that's been making me a lot of money. I actually got my second car from my private car rental fleet. It's a Chevrolet Malibu. Looks beautiful. Looks really nice. I'm actually getting the car ready and getting the inspections done and stuff for that car. So now I have two cars from my private car rentals. Let me go back a little bit. In total, I have 5 cars. I have one SUV, I have one minivan. I now have 3 sedans, which is crazy to say because I started this year with no cars, and now I have 5 cars in less than 5 months. So I've definitely been scaling a lot, but the money's really good. I really want to try to make this into a business, but I'll let you guys know how this goes. Private car rentals have made me about like 1,500, maybe a little bit more, maybe like around 2,000 or so. Now that I have my Chevrolet Malibu, I'm going to list that car as well. That car is going to be making me some good money as well. Haven't got any bookings yet, but I already started advertising. There's a lot of people that's really interested in it. And so yeah, that's my Turo journey. Again, like I mentioned before, these videos really help me a lot. And so if I could pass it forward to somebody else that may be interested, or maybe just want to hear my voice or something, I told you this is kind of how everything has been for me so far. And so, like, subscribe if you want to follow my journey, if you want to just hear different things I have to talk about, or just anything in general. Leave some comments down, ask me any questions that you may have, and thank you for tuning in. And yeah, peace.